Hello?
808, are you there? Is your area code 808? Is your area code 808?
Yes, it is.
Okay, your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, Andrew. My name is Darcy, and I'm calling from Hawaii.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very good. How can I help you today?
I don't know. I just woke up and I couldn't find your to listen live on my iPad, so I called in from my phone.
Okay. So did you want to get a reading today?
Sure.
Yes. Andrew Facebooked me today and told me to give.
Hey, ma'am, I'm on another call with 808. You'll have to mute your mic. Okay, 808. I'm going to give you a reading. What I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. Be as specific as possible about when you first woke up. And you need to give me about 45, 50 seconds out loud, and I'll be able to tune into you. What I'm doing is tuning onto the infinite you, turning into the finite you.
Okay. I just woke up, so I basically just brushed my teeth, made coffee, and opened up my windows. And that's about it. I just woke up maybe 15 minutes ago.
Okay. Did you dream last night?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. What did you dream about? I'm trying to tune into you, and you've got to give me just a little bit more vibration energy here.
It's really funny. I dreamt that I was walking with Sylvester Stallone. I don't know why.
All right, I've tuned into you, and this is the first layer of energy that's coming to you from the sun. As the sun rises each day, it brings you a new layer of information. As the sun goes down, you respond to what you've learned from this layer of information, and many of this is in the subconscious higher spirit frame. Unless you're tuned into the spiritual you, and this represents the spiritual path that you're on, and the type of energy that's standing up in the flower of your crown chakra is known as the arrow of truth. There's a layer of truth energy that is coming out of your crown chakra, and it's protecting you from layers of energy that are not true. When you were growing up, did you have somebody that was very dominant of you and tried to enforce their perspective?
Yes, my father.
Okay. Well, right now that energy is beginning to saturate you. He is going through a very, very hard time, and the way your spiritual contracts are related, whenever he goes through a tough time spiritually, his negative spiritual contracts and the fine print in him makes him impress energy on you so he can extract energy from you. And this is something you must understand is on a spiritual contract level, and he's not doing it to harm you. And you must begin to free yourself of this energy and begin to empower yourself to understand that there's a new layer of speaking energy that are coming through you. And this layer of speaking energy is very important, and this energy is going to be called the talking stick. A talking stick is where you receive the energy from the spirit world that's protecting you through your crown chakra, so you can open yourself up to the second layer of reflections in yourself. The first layer of reflection is a spiritual you who's gone on for the last 7 years in the spiritual process, but ultimately when you reflect upon yourself at the highest level, it's about you understanding that the great smoking mirror is coming to you. The great smoking mirror is identified as a marker stone in history, and this marker stone in history is going to help expand and explore your manifesting concepts that are in you. Do you understand in this?
Yeah, I do.
So you're understanding what this concept is about, and I have a couple questions for you. Have you been recently sick?
Have I what?
Been sick recently?
Not really. I mean, in January, I was sick with a virus, a cold that wouldn't go away, and I missed a lot of work. But besides that, I've been pretty healthy.
All right. Are the fires that are going on around you cyclically affect you breathing? It's like they're burning forest or something on a cyclical basis. This is the energy that I'm getting from you.
No, I mean, you mean like fires on the ground, like on Maui?
Is that where you're at in Maui?
I'm on the island of Maui, yeah.
All right, so then you have regular fires there when they burn the sugar canes? So 808, do those cyclical fires affect you?
Not really. I mean, my breathing's pretty good. I don't it affects. I mean, I don't like the smell too much, but other than that, it doesn't really affect me.
Okay. Well, what I'm sensing, it is actually affecting you. The burning of the smoke is causing a backup in your crown chakra. And this is on a spiritual level. And what's going on here, you're going to have to clean out your crown chakra and begin to do strict smudging on your crown. Do you ever do smudging?
I've never heard of it.
That's where you take a sage stick and you have the smoke that goes all over you. You've never seen anyone do anything like that, a sage or an incense stick?
Yeah.
Well, you need to start doing this with yourself, and you need to use words that are going to be expressive, because right now your crown chakra is being heavily affected by the negative cell phone energy in your area. You also need to start turning off your wireless devices when you sleep, and it's starting to severely affect some of your spiritual outcomes, and it's limiting your total potential right now. And then you're in a manifesting state right now where your actual menstrual cycle is aligned with the moon cycle and the tidal cycle, so you're set for a really big awakening here. And it can be very overwhelming if your crown chakra is clogged.
Wow. Because I do sleep with like my iPad next to me, my phone, so that makes sense. I mean,
you need to turn those all off. Everything. You need to turn all of that off.
Wow. Interesting. Well, thank you, Andrew.
So the first concept that they're showing me in your dream world is you're sharing space with 3 other women, and you're sharing a moment of peace and solitude. Each woman's in a basic ceremonial garb. Each one has a prayer pipe of inner peace. Each one has a talking stick, and each one is adorned with the moon lodge symbols on their ceremonial vestments. And what this is the sacred feminine is in 3 layers in you. The first layer of the sacred feminine is the person that prays to the universe. The second sacred feminine is the one who understands the viewpoints and options that the universe is telling back to her. And the third part is the ceremonial concept of the retreat of women into women alone. And the concept of women into women alone is modifying the sacred feminine, so you may understand that the very you that's here is the sacred feminine. The very you that's here is the one expressing your options. And it is within your personal, external, and internal prayers that create things on a very large level spiritually. So the energies of the co-creative feminine are here for you now. And these energies of the co-creative feminine are about you understanding that you have soul sisters that are trying to teach you now. And these soul sisters are sitting with you in your dream world, teaching you, bringing wisdom and knowledge to you. But it's the you of now that has to convert it into the aware message. You understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah, probably on more than one level.
How about this one? Is the moon real or is it artificial?
Oh, wow. I've talked about the moon so many times. Oh, wow. The moon is a real moon. It's one of the oldest objects in our existing universe, and it is a marker place. It is a hollow moon. It does have what's called a unity consciousness drive. So if there's a unity species living on the surface or in the hollow, it can move. It's not currently moving because it's acting like a massive United Nations for the inter-universal community to come here and witness through experiential observation of what is going on Earth. It is essentially the pay-per-view audience to see how we go through change. And if other beings in other universes want to use what we've done here as a template to create even deeper change in their own expressions. The moon has been battled over for millions of years because they knew deep in the future it would be used as this observational post for universal beings and trying to understand what was going on in all these time war expressions we had.
All right. I'm going to take us from the ground into just beyond the moon, and then Rebecca can go from there. I want everybody to just relax and look out the top of your skull, your crown chakra. There's an eyeball looking up, and that eyeball's like a kite. And that energy goes up and up and up, but that kite is attached to the ground, and that ground has roots that go deep into Mother Earth's heart. And that heart beats, and every time it beats, it takes you higher upon higher upon higher until you're out of the clouds. And you see the moon, and you see the sun. And at the moon's line, as you decide where in the cosmos you want to go, your brother and sister planets. This energy is building to you like the Jack and the Beanstalk, growing and growing and doing, solidifying your anchor so you can understand the galactic brothers and sisters that are out there, from the great macro scale of the planets to the micro scale of the amoebas. We have the opportunity to experience, co-create, learn, and observe as sacred mutual auditors. I see things from a Dreamtime perspective as well as a remote view perspective. The moon is a hollow, as is our planet is hollow, but it's hollow for those people that are on a higher dimension. On third dimension, Earth is a molten core for those that are third dimension understanders. For those that are fourth dimension, it is an energetic spot where you can go and exist and co-create. And the moon was an object given to our planet. Our planet was originally a galactic nursery planet, and the moon was the place stuff went off the planet and what allowed to exist in zero gravity so it can be climatized to other events. When you say you see plants and water inside there, it is, because the moon was meant to move between the parts of the galaxy so it could be like a delivery system for the plants or animals that it was going to seed onto new worlds that were being created by these higher dimensional beings. The moon is also a great shield for this planet, though it's been destroyed in the various conflicts that were here, and that shield was to protect it from the galactic energies of 3 different galaxies. Think of the moon as the linchpin of 3 belts that are going in a circle on a piston, and the moon's energy kept the Earth locked in place. And as that system in there broke, Earth was given its freedom.
Right. I've been having a thought. We're a planet in a solar system, or we're on a planet in the solar system. Our solar system is presumably in another solar system of a larger star, etc. How many et ceteras are there to the galaxy? How many levels down are we in the, if it was, do you get my point? How far away in terms of stepping down the energy from the center of the galaxy are we?
Okay, if you were to look at our solar system, let's say our solar system had enough sentient energy to say that it wants to become a new galaxy. Is that what you're saying? What's the scale?
No. What I'm saying is, right, okay, so the energy of the center of the galaxy, transmits itself out to a group of stars around it. Those stars relay the energy to the next set of stars, and so on, outwards towards the rim.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Each
you want to know how far away?
Yeah. How many of those nodes are we away from the center?
We're on the very edge of 3 different galaxies. The very, very leading edge. Imagine 3 circles that barely just intersect, their lines intersect on the very edge. We're in the dead center of where 3 circles would intersect.
All right. So not only are we on the outer spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, we're on the outer spiral arm of 2 other galaxies. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. So what are the other 2 galaxies?
The Sirius galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy.
All right. So Andromeda's not far away.
Nope.
And is this when? Oh, hang on a second. Are these galaxies colliding, or they just happen to be here at this moment? What's the deal? What's
You got to look at it in a perspective of let's say on a map, instead of a 2-dimensional map, you got to see it as a 3-dimensional map. So let's say the Milky Way is the x-axis, the Andromedans the y-axis, and the z-axis is the other one. And you do it in a manner where only on one side of the map do one little corner of all three of them intersect, and that's where the solar system would be. Right. They're not actually interacting, like the very, very edges of their magnetic fields. And Earth is in the smack dab in the center of that. Perfectly placed there on purpose so it could be a beachhead for all three of the galaxies. That's why Earth is so important, because it is a seed galaxy, seed planet.
Okay, so does that mean that these three galaxies are accelerating away from the point where we are?
I'm saying that Earth in our solar system is a ship that is on a path that keeps it in that little gap. Sometimes it pops out to one side a little bit more, sometimes it pops out to the other side a little more, so on and so forth.
So we are dealing with 3 galactic planes?
Yes.
Yeah, well, okay. And so, yeah, so what you're saying is like Sirius belongs to one of these galaxies, and Alcyon belongs to another galaxy, and Andromeda belongs to another group of the galaxies. Is that right?
Yep.
And these galaxies are merging together.
No, they're not merging. They're not really.
They're in a divergent trajectory.
They're constantly in attract repulse mode, but they're never going to collide.
All right.
Their central suns are repelling each other. Their just arms are going through that fluxing motion of staying together.
Right. So again, this comes to the hang on a second. All right. So those are 3 galaxies in the 3-dimensional universe. In the 5-dimensional universe, are these galaxies existing in one place?
Good question. No, they're existing in many places.
Right.
Earth is a convergence of sentience also. So
Earth is really like a bunch of doorways.
Yes, it is the doorway to everywhere.
Yeah.
With the gene stock for everywhere. The greatest prize of all of the universe.
So, who wants my genes?
Exactly. Who wants your genes? Not your blue jeans or your acid wash with holes in them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that sounds like an interesting future. The
moon is also a great shield for this planet, though it's been destroyed in the various conflicts that were here, and that shield was to protect it from the galactic energies of 3 different galaxies. Think of the moon as the linchpin of 3 belts that are going in a circle on a piston, and the moon's energy kept the Earth locked in place. And as that system in there broke, Earth was given its freedom, and its freedom to co-create in its own divine, and to be set free into the 3 galaxies. And there are things behind the moon. I mean, you've described stuff that you see, and I mean, it goes on and on and on. Inside the moon itself, there are 2 massive crystalline objects that have been embedded there, and these are when ascended masters of other planets die. A lot of them have missions, and that missions is to make sure knowledge, wisdom, and education is spread to the other species. So when they pass on, they become a crystal. I mean, like an actual knowledge crystal. And they're will form into big groups, or several dozen of them will pass on into a crystal, and they'll make a hive mind of knowledge and wisdom. And these are inside the moon, and these are our schools that many of us experience in Dreamtime.
Well, no, it's a standard question. How do you know you're talking to an ascended master? You don't, unless they prove that they have the ability to remain in sacred neutral, vibrate at the frequency of the Akashic record, and they will immediately represent their hive organization, because one ascended master is all ascended masters. They're in unity outside of this dimension and time space, trying to get us all to work together, who are in a bunch of different polarities. So the ascended masters are trying to herd the feral cats, and we're the feral cats. So if this feral cat goes, I'm not a feral cat no more, hey, Mr. Ascended Master, that's not just you, Saint Germain. Every Ascended Master that's ever been on this planet is a part of your hive of who you are. And your whole purpose is to figure out the way to get all the feral cats to agree that, you can all share the ball of string. So yes, can I talk to Ascended Masters? You're never talking to one. That's the first thing to go by. If you want to project that it's Saint Germain or project that, that's fine. But it's all of them. And the same thing with the angels. It's all of them at once. But we, as this frequency time thing, need something to anchor in this reality to give it what? Our belief. That's justice and judgment, isn't it? So if a being is true and neutral and it's a sovereign thing, how can you be in judgment of it? But that's the next layer of that question. How can we be a judgment of a being that chooses to be a false light being? In unity, no one is left behind. In unity, there is no justice and judgment. There is remedy and resolve, because time and money debt is not the factor. When we take those out of the basis, our ability to judge the foundation of all beings as whether being good or bad by a title calling them Ascended Master, yes, this dimension and time stream has really bastardized that word. The propaganda industry needed to do it. Otherwise, people would be mass awakening, walking away from the government, and there would be no New World Order. So naturally, they're going to go and corrupt all of those different things. And I'll let you on a little backstory. Last year, I met over 100 people who believed they were Saint Germain, and they were the only Saint Germain in the world, and every other one of them were crazy. 50 Mary Magdalens, another 100. I cannot even begin to tell you. Every year, somebody thinks they're Jesus. Somebody thinks they're Saint Germain. Somebody thinks they're Jeshua. No, you're not. You're not. The Ascended Masters cannot be in this world. They were kicked out. They cannot incarnate here. They are ephemeral. And only their teachings survive. And it is the teachings that are misunderstood and misguided and put into the hands of zealots. There are Ascended Masters out there that are going, motherfuckers, they're impersonating me. I never said that. But we in this dimension and time stream who are in justice and judgment make labels. But sometimes those labels are for positive, sometimes they're for negative. Guess what? We can't change people's views. If I want to spout Ascended Master 90 times on a show, I can, but I don't. Why? The Ascended Master's days are over in this dimension. They're waiting for us to finish so they can go on to the next experience and not have to deal with all of our traumatic bullshit. Because we are the next Ascended Masters, so that the next 7 generations actually have space to live, love, learn, and prosper. Without war, without hatred.
When Ascended Masters of other planets die, a lot of them have missions. And that mission is to make sure knowledge, wisdom, and education is spread to the other species. So when they pass on, they become a crystal. I mean, like an actual knowledge crystal. And they will form into big groups, or several dozen of them will pass on into a crystal. And they'll make a hive mind of knowledge and wisdom. And these are inside the moon. And these are our schools that many of us experience in Dreamtime. And there are 2 separate ones that teach us the co-creating value of the Dreamtime and the co-creating value of experiencing and exploring the third and fourth dimensional parts of our galaxy. It's where you will get your passport and the right and honor to be a co-creator among the stars. It'll mean you've respected yourself enough to stay healed so you can heal others. It'll mean that you won't have political dogmas and concepts that dominate your very life, because you understand that all life is sacred and all life needs opportunity to expand and explore. And the moon is our waypoint off this planet as the great migration of souls begins and the event unfolds and we learn our galactic history. I have very similar information to that, except that as early as 6:30, that there were groups that were going there, but they were very small groups. And other than the Blue Bloods, there were other groups here, but many of them were annihilated early on in the history for control here. So I just wanted to verify who they was at that point, because each generation had a few that attempted and succeeded too. I've said this on other shows. This solar system has been moved 12 times. The planets that we have here right now, the highest dimensional beings have been doing the planetary chessboard. And this moon is what allowed those various planets to co-create in our solar system to be anchored here, and so that their Dreamtime realms wouldn't dream those planets back to their original points in their original galaxies. We're at the linchpin of 3 galaxies and intersecting, and the great and higher forces needed the highest energy spirits and highest technology of people to lock the 3 galaxies into a karmic motion so they can exchange it on a great level and expand and explore each other. And the moon was that linchpin, and Earth was the galactic nursery that everybody would be sucked into, and then go through the incarnation rules here so we could do what? Finally get passports, go to the moon, adapt to our consciousness. Inside the moon itself is a crystalline city that is out of phase of reality, and that out of phase reality is the dream world that's for the moon. The moon was created by a Dreamtime society, people who manifested out of the dream world and manifested an object literally, from one universe to this universe, so that this universe can have an experience of the infinite energy of co-creation. So it made this system, this mobile planet. Many, many other planets in our galaxy are mobile planets, but this one, inside it, its consciousness, its third eye, is us here on the planet, because we all share incarnation rituals and rules with it. And the Native Americans call it the Moon Lodge or the Night Lodge, because that's where you go in your dream time. You have a dream time here on Earth, and then you have the Moon Lodge time, which women have the extra point to, that it comes through your womb cave when you have children. For baby spirits to come from other galaxies and other universes, they stop at the moon, and they go through their nursery time there as they plan their incarnation rituals and rules. And for those of us that want to reawaken that being that's in that moon, we simply need to step into the out-of-phase city, either through remote viewing, remote projection, and we do it out of love and understanding that our 7 future generations, that's their gateway to us, through our dreams, through our moon, to our planet, to our incarnation cycle, and then repeating it. The moon has, think of our precession of the equinox. If you look at our planet, you got that wobble on the top. Well, the moon has what's called a quad wobble, and that creates 4 different sound waves. And that 4 different sound waves has 8 points in the spherical communication. That 8 points creates a harmony. So depending on the type of vibration that your soul is, if you're 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, you'll sing to that chorus differently and access the galactic records of your incarnation rules. It's like intermediate area where you can understand your soul on a higher level before you project on the planet and deal with the final incarnation contracts that you create. It's the place between places, but it's an ambassadorial place, as many other species have energetic homes on there, because the moon has capacity to manage even 9th dimensional beings. In one aspect, it's like a hotel, spaceship, cruise liner, galactic ascension machine, and I could keep going and going and going, but whoever you are, wherever you are in multiple versions of universes, you could live on this place, and there's several thousand layers of that people could exist in. The moon that we have now, actually, like where we're at in the galaxy, is where it was found, and they brought us to this moon. So this is a little different piece to the puzzle to understand here. When they were assembling this solar system, they were attempting to find the most powerful galactic mind planets that were one stage away from being ninth dimensional planets where they could become stars. So they found a young star and some very dominant planetary minds. And they brought them all here and they made this solar system. And because the moon was existing here, when they were doing it, there was a battle, and they used our original moons to stop anybody from following them, because this was in such an unusual place in space. Once they got here is when the people of Earth were going through the beginning of this galactic nursery phase, where they were creating large-scale DNA things from plant life to amoeba life to sand to water, and they were going to make a galactic truck and just start filling up planets all over with life form from Earth, because Earth was the womb planet. And the moon was its brother protector, because it, as I said, had an energy about it that allowed souls from 3 separate galaxies to come here and make contracts in which they never could before, because they were separate galaxies. It's like the galactic ambassadorial meeting place of soul groups, and this was the place that they could begin to exchange karma so they could coexist and co-create together. And the lower technology species didn't understand what was being done here, and the battle was fought for resources and technology, but in reality it was about bringing all of these galactic entities together.
I have another question. I have so many. All right. How about, did Neil Armstrong walk on the moon? Did we ever go to the moon?
We went to the moon. And did Neil Armstrong land on the actual moon?
Yes.
Not on the actual live one. That's the better answer. But he did land on that moon.
No, wait a minute.
Not on the live one, though.
What does that mean?
They went many more times than they described.
Oh.
And what they discovered there on the moon was remnants of old civilizations that were very reflective of living here on Earth. They also discovered that were pockets of atmosphere on certain parts of the moon and pockets of no atmosphere, hundreds of different environmental types. Ice, they found liquid water, they even found life there, crystalline life that reflected the peoples that were coming forth.
So the actual broadcast was fake, but they did go.
No, the broadcast was live.
Was live
from an orbiter, but it wasn't the footage. The footage was prepared before they even landed.
Ah, okay. All right.
Mad Painter is up next. How you doing today?
Oh man, I wasn't ready. I was expecting you to take the other callers.
I've just taken them in the order that they came.
I was just wondering if we got a what's called a supermoon coming up. Are you aware of it?
Oh yeah, I'm very aware of it, and people are beginning to be affected by it big time.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. What it was going to possibly do to affect us?
Well, first thing it's going to do, as it comes, it's going to create waves of energy, and these waves of energy, its purpose is to shake people that are sleeping in their bed, quite literally. And as you begin to get these waves of energy to come into you, you'll either have chills, cold chills, or you'll have shivers, or you'll find yourself in an uncertain state because all this energy is around you. And you'll see it in nursing homes. The people in nursing homes will act crazy. And in schools, kids will be acting really weird. They are the first mirror of how the energy is going to affect the area around you. Have you noticed anything weird in your family or the people you work with?
Oh, I live in a weird world.
Welcome to my world.
So you know what I'm talking about. I mean,
oh, yeah.
The people that you hang with are kind of out of the ordinary. So I don't notice it as much. Now I have noticed my dreams have been different. Well, you're getting more different.
your dream world is going to be affected first because the energy of the supermoon is literally empowering you to have deeper dream experiences. And that's the trick to the supermoon. If you know what it's going to do, you can be prepared to have wonderful dream experiences. And that's about you challenging yourself before you go to sleep to remember and to be a part of your dreams, and saying out loud to yourself in a self-expressive prayer, a non-spiritual prayer, that I want to be a bigger part of my dream world, and empower your aura to experience that. And then the waves of energy coming from the supermoon will amplify all of that expressive energy you're having.
Interesting. Thank you. I knew you know I don't do well with my dreams. That's why, and something about this moon just hit me this morning. So
it hit you for a reason, actually.
Right, and I wanted to see if I could get some kind of.
There is a reason, and it's because there's a past life event for you that's coming up, and it's related to the War of 1812, actually. And you were in a very big battle that ended on a supermoon. And you lived this battle, but you lost tremendous amounts of friends. And you lost so many friends when you looked up at the supermoon, you asked, why, universe? Why did this war have to happen? And that's what's coming up for you, the life that you live now. Why does this war have to happen? Why can't we have peace? Why can't we get along? And that's what's being transmitted to you now, is that person who walked away from the battlefield and just went into the wilderness and was forgotten. Simply walked away from the world.
That's interesting. Right? I appreciate you answering.
Look at the life that you've lived today and understand that you didn't walk away from the world this time.
I'm trying to get more involved. That's why I'm not
exactly.
Station, you know?
And that's the reason that this supermoon's beginning to hit you, because there was a time you could have walked away, but you didn't. Now you're here with all of your force of will, all of your wisdom, and saying, no, we're going to end this.
That's the hope, anyway.
Right. That's the hope.
All right, I appreciate you talking with me, Andrew. You're have welcome. A great show. The last caller there, the guy was something else, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, he's outstanding.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.